Alright, I'm back after a short break. Resetting my computer. I took the chance to fix a small bug also so I could focus on getting the artificial intelligence going for this boss. So it's going to be kind of weird because I have the boss's artificial intelligence will run within the game engine, but if you pause that, it'll pause the boss's brain, basically. If you pause the game. But part of the way I have the engine programmed is if I want to center the screen on something besides the main character, I have to pause the rest of the game and move the camera. And so I have to have that logic outside of the boss's brain so I know when to move the camera, and that's what this Pengu checker function is going to do. And so it'll be kind of passing the baton back and forth between these two functions to get the... Because when the penguin is charging his attacks, I want this camera to focus on him and pause all your movements. And so you'll see him summon his ice armor, and then it will need to unpause and zoom back over to your character. And then you can fight, shoot your firewalls at the boss to knock his armor down. And then when you knock all his armor off, it'll pause again, and the wand will go flying up through the air. And I want to follow the wand with the camera. And then when the wand hits and freezes into the ground, then I want to zoom back to the player character, have the camera follow him while you're fighting the naked penguin who's worried, trying to find his wand, running back and forth till he finds the wand. Then when he does find the wand, it'll pause again, zoom in on the penguin will do his summon move, and then he'll throw his fireball at you. So that's going to be kind of interesting, because also, this is something I'm just thinking of now, when he's doing his summoning move, I want the snow to still be falling. Because his move is gonna create kind of a snowstorm effect, but right now the way I have it is if you pause, the snow stops too. So I'm gonna have to find a way around that. Maybe I can keep the snow moving with this Pengu checker function. Anyway, it's gonna be interesting to figure that all out so that it looks and feels right, like there's kind of a story being told of this penguin summoning stuff. Because the screen is big enough where when the penguin is doing a lot of his moves, you might be hiding off in a corner and you wouldn't see the penguin doing his stuff, so I need to actually pause and have the camera focus on the penguin so that it's clear what's happening in the game. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's going to be fun to figure this out. How many times do you think you'll have to destroy the armor to kill him? Probably 3, that's what I'm guessing. Try to keep it right around that range. Looks like somebody else is joining us for the chat. Nope. It says 3, but it only has 2 in the list, so there must be something jacked up with the counting of the watching now. Alright, so first thing first, and I'm just gonna write this out in a notepad file. I don't know if you can see my notepad, probably not. Put it in scene 2. So it's going to start out with summon animation, and then the ice clad animation, and this is all paused. Then it will unpause. 2 fireballs to knock off ice armor. Then it will pause again. So it's going to start off paused. And focus on wand getting stuck. Then it'll unpause. Then beat up on naked penguin. You don't hear that every day. And then when penguin finds wand, pause. And summon animation. Then unpause. Do the fireball animation. And this is going to be summoning a blizzard. And this summon animation is just going to be flurry of snow. Snow blizzard. Fireball animation, which you'll have to then you'll dodge it, and then it will pause again and repeat with him summoning his ice armor. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff to keep track of. So I guess we're just going to jump right into this, right? I'm actually not going to have the background music start right away. You might have heard my son making some baby noises outside of my office door. Okay. So it's actually going to be t.pause equals true. It's going to start out paused and no keys. So you won't be able to push anything and have it recognize any button presses. And he's going to actually start out with summon animation. Right? And I need to count 128 frames. So after he summons the first time, then we need to go to the ice clad animation. It's called ice casing. So in ice casing, go at 61, frame 61. So 1 is going to be ice casing, summon 1, ice casing at frame 61. Keep forgetting to switch you guys back to see what I'm coding, sorry. I'm going to go T dot flash it, which is a screen flash, and then T dot shake amount equals 15, so that'll shake the screen slightly and flash right at this moment when on frame 61 the ice converges. Snap! That'll be screen shake and screen flash. Bam, bam, bam. And then when it gets to 80. When that one will be complete. Decision will equal 2. And we'll send this e.small equals false. So no longer small. And send him to rest. And at that point, t.posi equals false. And t.nokeys equals false. Now the problem is that none of this is going to work. I just realized. Because if it's paused, so I'm actually going to give T. So I already am setting the boss. Okay, so this information needs to happen in this function. Var E equals if T dot the boss does not equal undefined. Var E equals T dot the boss. So this is running independent of whether it's paused or not. And I need that to happen while he's doing these moves. And then I have a function I'm going to flash it here too. The screen flash will let you know that it's done. That the pausing, like the cinematic or whatever that you're watching of him gathering his ice, with it when it flashes again, it'll be a visual cue that you can start moving again, kind of a wake-up call to get back on your keys. Let's see. I have a function already that will center move cam 2. Okay. So move cam 2 T dot move cam 2, and that will center on for now. Let's just center on e dot x, e dot y. Okay. I think that will work. So we should probably put this clause also, just so that he'll finish being hit, playing his hit animation, if he is hit, before he starts trying to summon stuff. Because that could screw up the logic of other areas. Alright, I think that will work. So what should happen when I test it now is it'll start out paused when you won't be able to control. The camera will zoom over to the penguin who's doing his summoning move, summoning stuff, and then when he finishes his summoning move, the ice should appear and encase him in ice. There should be a screen flash, a screen shake. Then it should unpause, zoom back to you, and that's all I have so far. But we should test it just to make sure I'm not doing anything crazy yet. So compiling. Oh, I got an error. Call to a possibly undefined method, flash it. Okay, I forgot to put the correct reference. Should be T dot flash it. Try that again. See if I get any errors. Will my son's voice be in the game? Ah, good question. Probably. I think it'll be part of the ending of the game. Okay, let's switch over to here. Chunk. This works on the first try. It'll be a good day. Ah. Ooh. Almost working. So it did the animation, but it unpaused too soon. So let's switch this back. Why did that unpause so early? Okay. Why did it unpause? I'm just going to put a trace here. Why did it stop? Moving the camera. Unpause. Okay, let's see what that does. Didn't really change anything, but putting the trace in there might help me understand what happened better. It's really weird. I don't understand why it's unpausing all of a sudden. And this didn't run the unpause until later on. Maybe this is initializing and something else is setting it. So I'll just leave this on while this stuff is going. I'm going to force it to do this. See if that makes it work. Force feed it. Yeah, in fact that does make sense because I have a slight pause built into the level when it first loads where it's paused, and then there's that sound effect of it unlocking, and that's so somewhere else in the code it's turning the pause to off so the camera's focusing back on the character, whereas I need to keep, so if I force it to be paused, then when the other thing unpauses it, this will pause it, turn it right back to being paused, so that the camera can focus on Pengu Boss instead of me. So yeah, it should work. Yep, that worked right. I'm guessing we're probably going to need some kind of platforms in here so that you can, he's going to come walking at you. There's nothing you can do except shoot him with a fireball. Why is the camera moving when you get hit with a fireball? Oh, because it's still running the center function. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, only center on the penguin if you're doing one of these two moves. That, and when this guy goes to rest, I'm not sure I have a way for him to be vulnerable only to fireballs and not to regular attacks, because I can turn him to invulnerable equals true, which will stop all attacks. Let's test that out real quick. Yeah, I put invulnerable equals true. I don't think I have a way that will make him invulnerable to regular attacks, and not to fireball attacks. So yeah, I can't hit him. I should probably make it so that actually you hear a blocking sound. Fireball still does work against him when I have that invulnerable turned on. I must have thought of this already for other... See, one of the cool things is when you're charging your fireball, you don't have to worry about freezing because you're being warmed by your fire power. Oops. Okay, so how do I make it so when you swing your sword at him, it plays the blocking sound instead of just no hit detection at all. Need to look at some of my other AI code. Yeah, you have to time everything exactly right. And there can be lots of conflicting commands going into the program for animation stuff. Let's see. So I wanted to look at enemy 40-something. The boss flea. There it is. 43. Okay. So yeah, if I won't turn him on to invulnerable, but I'll turn him on to shieldy, and that'll play the that he's actually blocking your attacks rather than just not being vulnerable at all. And I'm going to turn Fireball Override. Which I haven't programmed yet, but we'll see. Go over here. Bink, 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 bink. Okay. Just so you know, you are hitting me, but I'm invulnerable to that form of attack. Oh, this one. Oh. So I need to turn on Fireball Override. I need to actually program in what that means. So go back here, do move Proj. Why are those platforms green/red? I'm not sure which platforms you're talking about. Be more specific. Move Proj. So this is what controls moving my projectiles. Check Proj hit P, which is not P dot harmless. So I need to check Proj hit. Free pass. was I thinking with free pass? If E is not hit, if E's hit points are greater than 0, if the player's not hit, and the projectile is not harmless, and the enemy is not immune to projectiles, okay, if you're not shielded, otherwise play that. So that's where I want. So he's shielded, or E dot fireball override. Should probably call it projectile override. Or just proj override for short. Proj override. Then while I'm here, if ref dot side ID equals 46 and background dot cur screen equals maybe 5. I'm gonna do ref dot Pengu Ice hit. We'll do E. Public function Pengu Ice hit. Doesn't return anything. Takes one parameter. Trace for now. You hit my ice shield. And in that case, let's just, while we're here, so when you get your ice casing, when the penguin gets his ice casing, ice shield equals 2. So it's going to take 2 hits. So E dot ice shield minus minus. If E dot ice shield less than or equal to 0, then all hell's gonna break loose. That's when the trace scepter loss. Okay. In your file, some platforms are red and green. I don't know how to explain so you can understand me. Oh, I think you're looking at, let me go back. You were saying some of these, they're like these red blocks, and some of them have green outlines on them also, like this right here. These are invisible when the game compiles, but this is what I use as kind of my level editor. So I can go in, and the green ones are cloud platforms. They're platforms that you can jump through from underneath. The red ones are solid platforms where if you try to jump into them, you'll hit your head on them. But you can walk on both if you're coming down from above. But this is basically how I build a level. I draw the level, and then I have these hidden layers that are the defined hit zones for stuff. Wait, you didn't see what I was talking about. Here's what I'm talking about. So I have green and red here. Sorry about that. So the green are the cloud platforms, the red are the normal platforms. You can jump through these, you can't jump through these. Does that make sense? So it's my way of doing my level editors. So I can draw levels rather than having to do too much coding or logic for how the platforms and everything work. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. Does that answer your question? Alright, where was I? I was going to test this. Oh, you know what? It's not going to work. I need to compile the core engine file first. So we'll go back here. Whenever I add logic to the core engine file, I have to recompile it. And then compile a couple other files in order. Try to do this in a way that Flash will not crash like it did earlier. Now we can go back here, do that. Alright, now we get to test the game again. Oh, wait a second. Did I change the name on the other thing? No, I did not. It's not Fireball Override, it's now Proj Override. That's not too big of a deal. I don't have to recompile everything because that's a high-level change, not a core engine change. Recompiling. Ready. Switch you guys so you can see. So snowy. Alright, so I'm still immune to those, but I got one hit. You hit my ice shield, that traced out correctly in my panel. I'll show you guys. You hit my ice shield. Right there. That's a good sign. That stuff is working right. Now let's see if this next one works. Oh no, I'm frozen. You hit my ice shield, scepter loss, which is what we wanted to have happen. So our code is working. Everything is coming together as planned. So the next step will be back here. You hit my ice shield, okay, that's working. Scepter loss, that's working. So now, one of the things that needs to happen is when he gets hit, this outer shell needs to turn into a smaller version. Chink. So I'm going to put a, and that's going to be called his body inside of guts 2 and guts 1. So e dot guts dot guts 2 dot body dot go to and stop e dot ice shield. Actually, if e dot ice shield equals 1, it'll shrink down. Shrink. And I need to make it so that it's doing that up here too. His main brain function, his brain stem. So I'm also going to need, when this happens, when you hit his ice shield, we're going to say make Pengu chunks. Public function, make Pengu chunks. And what that means is do a for loop. 10 chunks, we'll see if 10 chunks looks good enough. What are my chunks called? In here. Pengu chunk. I have 8 of them or 9 of them. Pengu chunk. So it's going to randomly select one of those chunks 10 times, and place it randomly near the x coordinate of the penguin. How tall is this guy? His height is 312, so we'll say 320. I'll switch back over to code view so you guys can see what I'm doing. I am the developer of Super Chibi Knight. Hello, Hiro Isake. I'm developing Super Chibi Knight right now. You're watching. So I'm adding it to the FX layer. Adding these chunks to the FX layer. And I need to so I'll use this crumbles. Like that. So I already have some logic that will move projectiles based on gravity and such. This means that it won't detect the ground, it'll just fall off the screen. It will be affected by gravity once it's travel in one direction. No rotate means it won't rotate around while it's flying. Harmless means that it won't check to see if it's going to hit you. So I don't care if these ice chunks can't hurt you, so they're harmless. And let's do 20 minus 10. So it could be, the x velocity could be 10 in the positive direction or 10 in the negative direction. It'll choose randomly in that range. Negative 10 random y velocity of up to negative 10. So when you hit them, it'll do some ice chunkage, make Pengu ice chunks. Thanks, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming by and watching. I'm going to show you a bit of the game right now. I'm in the middle of testing, so some stuff may not work right. There may be some bugs and stuff going on in here. In fact, there probably will be. So let's see if my ice chunking is working. And so what we're testing now is when you shoot the fireball, you still won't be able to hit him with your sword. That will be protected, deflected. But if you shoot your fireball at him, the screen should flash and shake. His ice shield should get smaller. And it should cast off a bunch of ice chunks onto the screen when it hits him. Does that make sense? Alright, let's check it out, see if it worked. Compiling. So for those that don't know, this is the ice castle. And there are 3 rooms that you have to beat to melt the entrance to the boss battle. And I've already beaten those, and so I'm going up into the ice, into the mouth of this ice cave. And I'm going to fight a penguin in an ice suit. So let's just make sure. Yep, can't hit him with my sword still. Shoot him with my fireball. Oh no! Error! Game breaking error. Alright, that happens. Cannot convert Pengu Chunk 3 to flash that display object. AS2601. New death. Let's try that. I think I need to do one other thing over here. Let's add my Pengu chunks to my new Pengu chunk 0, new Pengu chunk 1, new Pengu chunk 2, new Pengu chunk 3, new Pengu chunk 4, new Pengu chunk 5, new Pengu chunk 6, new Pengu chunk 7, new Pengu chunk 8. Okay, so those will be available, but since I'm adding that to the core, I need to go back and recompile the core stuff. Alright, much more likely that this is going to work this time. Compiling. Alright, we're good. Summon Ka-chunk. Alright. The battle. Comes. Oh no! I got an error already. Sword charge frame 2. What? That's not a good error. That's something wrong in my core code base. Man, you guys are bad luck. Alright, let's get back. Switch back to this. That's going to be in my main file. Which I almost hesitate to show anybody out there who knows how to code anything, because most of the stuff in here is from a long time ago and I was a much worse coder. And so it's gonna be a dog's breakfast. Oh, it's not even showing you guys my... or does it? Can you see that on your screen? Nope. Nope, still can't see it. Weird. So you can't see my code window here. It's probably for the better anyway, because this is a mess. Does the character you play as have a name? Because I can see you just named him Dude here. Well, it's supposed to be Bella. My daughter is the main character. Although I never really say that in the game anywhere. But it's modeled on her. What did I do? I was charging a fireball that I released as the fireball was getting charged up. So I wonder... I wonder. I'm just gonna put in my best guess. It really shouldn't have gotten in this far. I guess I'll put a try catch statement here. Sometimes Flash has really weird errors with animation and code execution because of the garbage collection. It won't clean up something that you've... it won't remove an animation. Even though the animation is no longer playing, it will still try to execute code from that timeline as if it were still playing on the stage. And so sometimes when things are interrupted by getting hit, or if you release a key too soon before an animation has a chance to play, it'll try to execute code later on in the animation, even though the animation isn't playing anymore, and that causes it to have a reference error. And so you have to throw in these little try-catch statements where it'll just ignore the error, because the error doesn't actually affect anything. So we'll do that, and that'll probably fix it. Yeah, Flash can be quirky. I use it because it's what I know, and I like the drawing tools. I like the style of art that I can achieve with Flash. And you can do a lot with Flash, even with Flash code. Nowadays you can export to mobile and a lot of different platforms. So it's very flexible, and it's easy for someone who has no computer science background to learn how to code in Flash. So it has lots of benefits, but it has its quirks also, which can be annoying. But it's give and take, as with a lot of things. That's cool. You haven't won a Steam code yet? Stay tuned. Maybe you'll get one of these days. Switching over to this. All right. So if we don't see some chunks fly off this time, then we can be a little bit frustrated. It should work. Shouldn't be any unforeseen things. Logically, it makes sense to me that this should work. So, still not able to hit him. Oh, did you see those chunks fly off? Check that out. And his suit got smaller. And then with another one. Yeah. So it doesn't know what to do once you hit him twice because he's supposed to lose all his armor if you hit him twice, but it is working for the first hit. So that's awesome. We should do a little sound effect in there. Play sound effect. Helmet sound, where is it? I use this sound a lot when big things are happening to the bad guys. Scared. Go to scared. It's actually gonna pause. Take away your controls. That's gonna happen. Gonna hit him, chunks are gonna fly off, the screen's gonna shake. It looked like we needed some more X range on the chunks, to be honest. So if we put that up to 160, so it'll be a little more leeway on either side for those chunks to fly off. Were there enough chunks? Let's do 15. And then he's gonna shieldy. It's gonna be false. And what else? His decision branch. We have 0-1. We're gonna make it 3. It's 3. Move the camera. Okay, so let's see if that works so far. What we've got. thanks for buying it if you bought the game already. It's only $10, which isn't too expensive. I think it's got enough content in there to be worth $10, you know. You pay $10 for a movie nowadays, it lasts for 2 hours. This game is going to give you well over 2 hours worth of entertainment and be a lot more interactive than a movie. That's cool. It seemed like it was the right amount of... You know what we should do? We should move the camera so that it kind of focuses at the point in between the two, between the main player and the... So that when you hit them, there's a little bit more of a... Sorry, I left you guys in the dark. Oops, I didn't finish that. One problem we have is that I'm not actually giving any physics to the boss yet. So he doesn't move around at all. I guess we'll probably deal with that later. Oh yeah, I was going to make the camera move around a little differently. This is the code for the last boss. The giant flea. Who had many different decisions to make. I forget how I moved the camera for him. Like X add. Or add X. No. X add. I think that was it either. Move cam. Let's move cam 2. Actually, I want the center function. Where's that? X off. Okay, so background.x off. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right there. Alright, so that should move, kind of position the camera halfway between where the player is and where the boss is. So you'll have more of a, you'll have a better view of what's going on with the boss. See if that compiles correctly. See that? Camera's staying tracked more. That's cool. There wasn't a bug per se, but we just hit a point where it was everything paused up. I think we need to say turn off that. Make sure he's not counting his hit. See if that changes anything. do is not pause it until get to here. So after you recover from the hit, it'll pause. And this will happen. It should work. Sorry, I left you guys in the dark. Aha! Cute penguin. Cool. So that's functioning how I want it to work. So I'll need to have the scepter fly out, land somewhere, the camera will follow it, shink. Then it'll unpause, then you'll have a chance to wail on this penguin. And with your sword, then he'll eventually get over to his scepter, and he'll do another move. You know what I should do before? I was thinking of quitting the stream for the day, but one thing I should do is make it so the snow is still falling when these things are paused. And then when he's doing that summoning effect, I'll actually have the snow flurry going. Because you can see right now, when it's paused, the bitmap data is actually cutting off the snow because it's not updating. And so I need to fix that. And have the snow falling all the time, even when this is paused. So let's see if I can sort that out right now. So what moves the snow? Something in here. Nice snowverlay. Snowverlay. Move snowverlay. No. Move snowverlay. Center. Or, so if it's not paused, or this dot parent dot fake pause. Okay. Fake pause. Fake pause. Fake pause. Pengu checker. T dot fake pause equals true. Yes. Which means my snow can keep moving. Keep executing snow code. And in here, where's the flurry? Flurry speed! Flurry speed. Summon. If I don't have a reference to the Snoverlay. Snoverlay equals Snow V. Snow V. T dot Snow V dot flurry speed. Capital S. So it's at 1. Flurry speed, t.snowv.flurry speed is less than 5. t.snowv.flurry speed plus equals 0.25. So it'll start, the snow should start going. When he does his summoning move, the snow should start going whoa, like magic is going around. Then when it's done, when it unpauses, I'm going to flip it back to 1. Hopefully this actually works. All my references are right. Okay. I just did a lot of stuff in that. Hopefully that nothing breaks. You guys will give me virtual high fives if this works. Okay, see how peacefully the snow is falling right now? It's gonna change when this penguin starts doing his magic. Here it comes. It wasn't severe enough. It did work, but it was not severe enough. Make this 20. We could go up by one at a time. The bitmap data still wasn't updating though in the Snoverlay. Set camera offset. Where is that? Sorry, I left you guys in the dark. I just did some stuff that hopefully fixes it so that the bitmap data doesn't cut off the edge of the snow, and to make the flurry more powerful. So it kind of worked, but it looked like it was still cutting off the edge of the bitmap data to me. Did it look like that to you guys? No, the snow is on a layer on top of everything. There's no snow layer behind the stuff. Okay. I think I do need that then. This part. This is getting complicated enough that I might make a separate function for it. Not for now. Keep leaving you guys in the dark. While I fix stuff. Yeah, that looks good. Sweet. That was cool, huh? Nice. Very nice. Cool. Alright. Well, I think that is enough for today. It's getting to be lunchtime. I think I'm going to grab some food. If you guys have any... Oh, right. You're right, Jonas. That was what I was trying to fix. And I fixed it. That was cool. To see that flurry going on while he's doing the summon, right? I think I want a little more time in that intro before it zooms over to the penguin, or maybe I'll have it zoom over and the penguin will walk out onto the screen so you kind of get an idea like, what's this little penguin gonna do? And then he'll lift up his scepter and then the snow will start going and it'll start getting crazy. And that'll be cool. And so there's a little more setup time. There's some weird sound effects that are still playing in there that I need to get out, but I think it's looking good. If you guys have any more questions, ask away. I'm gonna test one more time just to show what we did for today. But yeah, go ahead, leave me comments, questions, suggestions, whatever you got. I'm going to test this one last time. You know what? And I'll play with my controller. I like to play with the controller every once in a while just to make sure I didn't break anything whenever I add new code. You never know what's gonna be affected. It's not likely for the controller's code to be affected. You never know. Nice. That's looking cool. This is going to be one of my favorite bosses of the game, I think. It's looking really nice. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in again, and I will talk to you later.